That's what our show is about today. It's about attracting that sacred counterpart right now and working with both those energies to have a successful relationship. So, hi, guys. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Good.
Thank you. That was a great intro. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And you guys had a full weekend. Y'all were teaching your master class on psychic development. You had a group that just graduated, right?
Yes, we did.
That's awesome.
It was an amazing weekend.
It really was. There was so many transformations and people really standing into their truth, and getting, hands-on, the master level psychic development. It was awesome. It really was. You see it. You can just see people getting it. That's so profound,
Right. You know what I love about psychic development classes, and I'm sure you guys experience all the same thing, is it goes beyond, when you're teaching that psychic development, there's so much more that happens after they graduate. The continued growth, it's like you just planted the seed.
Yes.
And I always try to encourage people, this is not it. This is not everything. So if you walk out of here
That's so true.
and you feel like, oh gosh, I don't know if I learned everything I should, you didn't. You're going to keep learning your universal guides and you basically just said yes to this whole thing, right?
Yes.
And they grow so much more after you guys. Am I right? I know that's been my experience.
Yes. That's the foundation, it really is the foundation. And then the integration is what happens afterwards, like you just said. And it's so personal because it is something, it's not like a typical class. And I tell people that when they come to our workshops is, there's a sense of this being so real and so personal, and the way that it's integrated into your life will encapsulate everything. It will be integrated into your job. It will be integrated into every single relationship that you maintain, because it's soul development. It's not a typical type of class that we would learn and then keep on a bookshelf.
Right.
It becomes so integrated into your state of being that that integration process, like you said, is just the beginning.
It is.
And that's what we tell our people too, is that, when you open that door, you cannot close it again, because
no, you can't unsee
stand
it, right?
in your truth. So exactly, you cannot lie to yourself anymore. You cannot put that mask back on. It's impossible.
Right.
Because your higher self is fully embodying and then coming in and
what I kind of pictured, I know this sounds weird. This is a weird analogy, but it makes sense in my head, so hopefully it does in y'all. But have you ever noticed when you watch a movie or you read a book the first time, it's like, oh, that was good. But then if you read it or watch it a second time, all of a sudden you get all these aha moments and these connections. And then let's just say the movie was something, there's a pivotal time in your life and that movie all of a sudden shows up again, or that book shows up again, and then you read it again and you're like, wait, I don't remember this the first time. And there's just all these aha moments.
That's so true.
Yeah, it's so funny. It just keeps showing up and showing up and showing up. And like you said, you can't unsee it.
That's funny you said that, because we had questions like that yesterday too. And that's the thing, they come back around like full circle, but they show up differently because you release parts of it and then you go deeper layer by layer. And eventually it does not affect you anymore, but then you just up level to the next. There's something else come online, it's beautiful.
It is. And I tell people too, a lot of times, even in personal readings, and I know you guys have had this happen, people get worried, like, I may forget what you said. I'm going to forget what you said. And it doesn't matter. I tell them so much. You're getting what you need to get right now, and your subconscious and everything else is soaking it in, and when you need to reflect on it, it's going to come back up. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to remember it or not, because it's going to serve its purpose in the moment that it's supposed to.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And everybody gets something, you can sit there and we'll be teaching a class, and afterwards someone says, oh my gosh, this part was just transformational for me, and this was so powerful. And the person sitting next to them will be like, what happened? I don't even remember that. They had something completely different. It's a living, breathing part of the transformation, is that, and same thing can happen with clients in one-on-one sessions. They can come back and say, this is what I took away. And you're like, wow, really? That was the point that hit you? Yeah, because it is something where they're receiving exactly what they need in that moment, like you said.
And then the selfish moment, I know you guys are like me, but we continue to learn too through the teachings. Yeah. We're like, oh, wow, I never got that either before. I haven't gotten to see that.
Completely. The evolutionary journey is eternal.
It is.
For sure.
Sometimes I feel like
I'm still blown away all the time.
Me too. It never gets old. Sometimes I feel like I'm cheating the system because I'm like, wait, I'm still learning.
Oh, yeah. I tell people that all the time because I think they think they're going to get to some point, you know, Buddha on the mountaintop. It is just a plateau to the next, you know, ledge or to the next space. And it's continual.
We're on the fast track, I guess, so to speak. But still, it's ongoing, you know, it's like it doesn't stop. And that is the beauty. And then when you find the peace in that, you know, just surrender to that, the flow.
And the fun of it
becomes so much easier, the why, not the how.
Absolutely. So and the fun of it, because it's more entertaining when you're not stressed about it. When you can say, you know what, I'm going to get what I get today, and that's what I'm getting. And I'm going to trust that I'm going to continue to get more when I'm supposed to. That makes it so much more fun. And to bond with those relationships and those people that you bonded with in the classes, those people that took this last class with you guys are going to be bonded forever, you know, as their class. Yes,
it's so true because it's very, very personal and tying in, you know, it ties souls together. So I think
it does.
That too, it's just a rare environment. And I'm sure you know because you teach psychic development too, but there's a sense with those classes, we just don't have many environments like that where we feel totally free to share what we're receiving from non-physical, to grow in that space, to speak that language. And there's just not a lot of avenues that provide that sense of communal, you know, companionship and growing in that way. So it's a really profoundly deep space for a lot of people.
That's where you two are as leaders, guiders, and teachers, though, because you guys are providing that safe space. I don't know about y'all, but I've been in workshops before where it didn't feel that safe. You know,
that's a good point. That's a very good point. And someone shared that this weekend.
Yes.
Actually, a client mentioned that last night. I mean, yesterday, doing it at the end of the class, it's like she was so impressed because she'd been through so many other teachings where they were like trying to keep you as a client, so to speak. You know, that was the takeaway from it. You know,
personally empowering.
They didn't never give you that kind of empowerment to that level. You know, where then like you are fully activated and you can. Basically go by yourself from now on. You don't need me anymore unless you want to go deeper, you know?
Exactly. And that's what I feel that from you guys. I feel that you both are just true messengers. You guys are definitely the physical angels here walking on earth, and y'all are definitely those messengers. You're not doing this work selfishly at all. You trust that you're in the right place at the right time. And it's very obvious from you two. You both speak this truth. And just even your own story of how you guys came together, divine timing, and in the universe, God just bringing you guys together to do this work and making it even more powerful. And I love that there's no ego in your work. It's so obvious there's no ego in your work. Okay, so now we're going to get to the relationship stuff, which is why we're here today, and to talk about this amazing thing. And if you guys, I didn't say their website in the beginning, so I'm going to say it now. It's www.sacredcounterpart.com. Fantastic name. And there is if you click on there, there's a place for you to contact them, email, and all that. So just go to sacredcounterpart.com to get information from them. And you guys are so busy because you don't just do your Sacred Counterpart stuff. You both have your individual work too. So tell me just a little bit more and how you guys come together and how you work together as partners. How does that work for y'all? I know that's a kind of a broad question, but you know.
Yeah, so our Sacred Counterpart work came up pretty organically. You know, we were both doing our own psychic work. Very much me in terms of my shamanic stuff, Mother Earth, and Father Sky, Peter with his angelic work. And so it just organically came up that people, when we would be together, would want sessions with us both, or to have that dynamic of the divine feminine and the divine masculine perspectives on relationships. It's not like in traditional psychic sessions, people don't ask about relationships. I would say it's probably the most common thing that comes up.
Right now, in the past 2 weeks, it's been with my guides, my clients. I don't know about y'all, but it's been a big subject in the past 2 weeks.
Yes. So as people started asking, we just started offering it, you know, and it came up very organically. So you want to jump in?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm sure you notice all the time is that whatever goes on in our life, we seem to reflect it on the outside, and we learned it first, so to speak. You know, we're going through it ourselves. That's how we can help others, you know, and we very much identify with that because we went through it. We are going through it, you know, on an everyday basis. So we have a direct, you know, connection to all these issues and whatever comes up, triggers that people, you know, mention or they are going through at the moment, you know, abandonment issues, whatever it is, you know, like is like something we can relate to on a personal level, and that really makes it deep, profound work. You know, like people really, you know, resonate with it, I feel.
They do.
Yes.
And, you know, I would love to just kind of go back to the beginning and just be a little personal, if it's okay. Where were you guys individually? You weren't in relationships at the time. Where was your heart? Like, were you in a despair moment? Were you like, I'm never going to find someone? Or were you like, I'm looking? Where were y'all individually before you met each other? And what do you think led you guys together? Do you know what I'm saying? I kind of have an idea, but I'd love for people that don't feel like I'm never going to meet anybody. You know what I mean? What's that?
I feel that, you know, I can, from my perspective, I guess, but I think I talk for both of us, is that, you know, we were both at a place that obviously there was a reason why we connected at that time. We had aligned spiritually and physically, you know, like we were both ready to take us to the next level. Like we went as far as we could individually, but we didn't need anyone on the outside. It was not like that. It was like, we are okay by ourselves, but we choose to be together. We don't need to be together. You know, that was the big
We're both doing our own thing in terms of like just trying to live out our highest vibrational life possible on the path of each truly wanting to live out the life that we came here to live, even though having a sense of looking for that partner, but at the same time, just content with the fact that we were going in a direction that had a sense of service to humanity on its own.
So that's that's a really important statement that I hope people are hearing. You guys were not in a desperate situation of looking for partners. You guys were not feeling like your life was not complete without having a counterpart.
It blew me away.
Right.
I didn't anticipate it.
Exactly.
And that was the thing too, that, you know, like we just connected so organically. Like, you know, we had somebody who actually understood everything that we were going through or we felt, you know, like, so we could talk at a totally different level, you know, like connect at a higher vibration and have amazing talks and just, you know, like magnets, you know, getting together, you know, like our soul journey was aligning, our timelines was aligning. Now was the time, you know, for the next.
So perfect. So, you know, that old saying of you meet that person when you're not looking. I think that's exactly what that is. and
I think,
there's so much
more to it.
There were elements
to that I do think he, at some points, he says, I manifested you, you know, and there were aspects of his life where he was being more proactive, I feel like.
That's true.
In the manifestation mode at times of looking. And I was more like, you know, so focused with my kids and my life and my work, of not noticing and kind of staying on that, but still feeling open for it.
And that's those small signs, I think, too, that, you know, I was starting to manifest because I started feeling in her, you know, Rachel before we got together. So I was starting to tap into that, you know, and like manifesting it more, you know.
Intuitively feeling like I was coming, you know, feeling that there was something there.
Let's talk about that then. So, Rachel, do you think because you are more Mother Earth like I am, you're more grounded? Do you think that's why you were, sorry, Peter, not that she didn't need you, but a little less, you know what I mean? You were okay without a partner very much. It would have been nice, but you were still fine, right?
Yes. I mean, that type of manifestation of thinking and visualizing is a masculine way of manifesting. As if in the feminine, divine feminine, we manifest more from a womb state, from a creative. I'm gonna make the environment so perfect for a sense of openness, for a sense of vulnerability, but I'm gonna be that myself.
Right.
And so it's a different way of manifesting, a different way of creating. It's still open to a sense of manifestation, but it's not as logical, linear, systematic like the masculine would approach it. So it's two different ways of and it can be said that, okay, I was in a space that was more grounded and not looking for it, but at the same time, it's more like that womb space of there's an openness of a grace and a fluidity and kind of, you know, open.
That's
to
amazing.
It, but not logically trying to create, manifest, visualize, be direct, like the masculine.
I do want to jump in there though, if I can, because
we have a phone call too. So, but go ahead, go ahead with it.
Well, the big thing about it is that, you know, we mentioned the masculine and the feminine is like we at that point both were pretty balanced individually in our masculine and feminine, which is a big, you know, component in our relationship that we can go, you know, we can balance it, you know, individually and together, you know, like, so we can go in either direction, you know, we are vulnerable when we need to be, we are strong when we need to be.
Right.
It's so important. You're not limited to either, you know?
Well, I want to get after our phone call real quick. I want to ask you, Peter, about that, about your process of manifesting her. Do you know what I mean? Because some people really do feel like they need to have that, I want to manifest this. You know what I'm saying? And it's a little hard to change their mind, and they're a little less capable of just going with the flowing and trusting. So I do want to ask about that. But let's get to this phone call real quick and see what we got, okay? So hold on just a second.
Yes.
All right. Hello, you're on the air. Hello? Can you hear us? I hope we still have them. Hello, you're on the air. Can you hear us? Oh, goodness. We may have lost them. They may have hung up. Okay.
Oh, no.
Call us back. It's okay. I may have put them on hold too long. I'm going to hang up the phone. And then, so you know what? That just means I'm supposed to get to you, Peter. So when you were, before you met her, and she even hinted that you kind of had a sense she was coming, was this through manifestation, or just explain it. I want to hear. Let's hear the guy's side.
It's more like a etheric plane, you know, like which is a big part of, I think, for men to go into the feeling area, you know. But I say this to clients all the time too, not just about love and sacred counterparts, but it's about aligning with the feeling and how it feels to be there, you know. How does this, to be with this person, or if it's something you want to change in your life, it's like stepping into the timeline where that already happened, like you already fully manifested, like when you feel how that feels, then you bring yourself there, you know. There's no like one foot in each camp. So that's basically what I was doing, you know, in a sense, you know. I was feeling her coming, and I started imagining and feeling how it is to, you know, be with her, hold her, kiss her, hold her hand, whatever it is, you know, like, and that guides you there, you know. It kind of brings you together in all aspects of your multidimensional self, not just the physical, you know.
So Abraham Hicks talks about this a lot, and I know you guys listen to that too, about it's not just listing it and like saying it. It's not just the words, it's feeling it as if it's already there, like you're saying. But I do have a funny question. Does Rachel look anything like you imagined? Did you imagine what she looked like?
Yes.
No. Are you serious?
Yes, seriously. And that's
Wow.
another good question you have there, because I did mention that yesterday to somebody else. Is like, when you get all your all your psychic gifts and multidimensional gifts activated,
Yeah.
you start seeing as one. You combine them all as one. Like you look at the world like that is your view on the world through all these senses, you know, not just your physical eyes, you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, totally. Now, you guys both know what love feels like, and you knew what that felt like even before you met each other. But what if, totally kind of off the subject, but same thing, what about to the person who wants to manifest, let's say, money, an abundance of money, or they want a beach house? I personally want a beach house. They don't know how that feels because they've never had it. So how would you advise, I mean, I know we're talking about couples, but just feeling something, there's people out there, believe it or not, that have never felt love. So how
Right.
do they go about feeling something they don't know what it is? Do you see what I'm saying?
So for me, I would say go to that feeling of after you've had it, not trying to like, so what does it feel like in a sense of completion, or what does it feel like in a sense of joy because of?
Gotcha.
Joy because you just got married, joy because you just signed the documents for the beach house. How does the aftermath feel? Go even beyond that. Embodying the sense of it, like Peter said, it's already happened. So not getting stuck in the stuff that you don't vibrationally know how to align with, rather the feeling that will come from that. And let those details of the vibration that you're maybe not familiar with, let the universe fill those in for you.
Do you guys believe that this really works? You know, some people say the law of attraction and stuff is poo-poo. What do you guys think?
It works 100%. It does.
I think it works whether we want it to or not. I think, again, I think it's kind of like magnets. You know, there's a sense of positive and negative energy base, whether we want a magnet to work or not, it does.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you can either be more aware of it and
Right.
utilize that sense of electromagnetic frequency or not, you know.
It is like getting out of your own way, so to speak. And we keep saying that all the time. It's like we make it too complicated, you know. When
You're
you
right.
really like get rid of most of the attachments, you know, to anything in your personal life, then, you know, you open up to any possibility, you know, not just one manifestation or one timeline, you know, then you can be surprised in so many more ways, you know, when you really open up to it, you know.
So, Peter, let's say you come home and you've had a bad day and it's not been great. And for some reason, you kind of had crosswords with Rachel in the morning and you're kind of expecting to probably have crosswords with her afterwards when you get home because you've also not had a great day at the office. How much of that do you think is manifested by you and how much of that do you think is actually reality?
Well, I think everything is manifested by me, and so to speak. It's for me how I handle it, my perception of it. So if that does happen in my day, then I will start processing it right away. It doesn't say that I would never come home like that, because that happens. Mm-hmm. But I think that the value in our relationship is that we talk it through, right, from a higher perspective. So, and it's about listening and holding space for the other partner, because we know it's not your problem. It's, so to speak, it can be both of ours, of course, but it's something the other person is working through, and we trust that the other one will hold that space for us as well as we would do it for them.
A safe place. And you guys, I want to tell you real quick, their Facebooks, their individual Facebook, both Peter Hansen and Rachel Kirkland, which is, if you guys are looking, also look for the Modern Shaman, because she's under the Modern Shaman. But they're very, very active on Facebook. I know some people are starting to call it old school, but there's so much good stuff on it. They are constantly posting videos, not just their question and answer sessions that they do on Saturdays. Do y'all do that every Saturday? The Sacred Couple questions?
We try to, if we're not teaching a psychic development class or something like that. A lot of times we may be working events or festivals or, holding seminars. But if we're not, we do a sacred, live Facebook.
They spend an entire hour talking about relationships, you guys. And it is so much fun. I've listened in on several of them, and people ask great questions, and you guys are welcome to ask great questions. It's so funny. They're very raw, and they're very real, too. I think the last one I saw, Rachel sat on a squeaky couch or something, and it was so funny. And I'm like, I love how real they are. It's like you're just sitting right there in front of them. So y'all check out their Facebook pages, too. You won't be sorry. It's just loads of good stuff. So I was going to ask you, Rachel. So let's take that same scenario. He came home in kind of a bad mood, and it's his journey. Obviously, it was his day, but he still got it. He's still hanging on, and maybe he's still remembering some words y'all exchanged in the morning. Now, how do you react to that? Do you does it, because of the law of attraction, are you in a bad mood, or do you have enough control to recognize that's his thing? And, I just want to know how you handle it.
Yeah, I think how I probably reacted in the morning will help, I'm going into that scenario and I'm thinking, okay, well, if I engaged in my own energetic drama in the morning in reaction to him would probably determine how I felt or what I was creating all day in terms of my own sense of manifestation, my own sense of creative perspective. So I think there are times, and again, this is a make-believe scenario.
It is make-believe scenario. Totally make-believe.
Totally make-believe.
Right.
No, but I think I definitely have, and part of that is we are aware that part of it is our own sense of creation, our own sense of perspective. So I do feel like even in a fight or even in an interaction that feels like we're having words or whatnot, there is an element of that I'm always aware is mine, is my sense of what am I creating? What am I, even in the words, how am I viewing and receiving those words?
Your perception.
What am I creating with this scenario? There's so the scenario, but then there's what am I creating with it? Am I creating drama with it? Am I creating a sense of compassion and space for that person? Am I creating a sense of awareness of just okay, I'm aware. As an observer, I'm observing this. There's a lot that I could create with that. Sometimes I engage in the drama, honestly. Sometimes, and I think we all do. I think that's important, though, for couples, because they look at Sacred Couple Counterpart and they think, oh, they never fight. They never have issues. It's not that. It's not that they don't arise and we don't have to do our own sense of clearing and healing and personal processing. It's that we are doing it. It's that we're making the effort. It's that we're trying to align vibrationally and asking the questions, is this my highest perspective I could take on this interaction? Am I seeing from all perspectives? Am I missing? It's not that it doesn't happen. It's that it does, and we keep going through it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I do want to jump in, though. Say, it really feels different, from any other relationship I've ever been in, because it is not being handled the same way. You can just feel it, like there's that compassion,
it's because you're
higher
awake.
guidance, you know?
It's because you're awake and aware. It's a totally different perspective when you're awake and aware.
The patience and the holding space for each other is like, it's sacred,
totally
you know?
different.
It's beautiful.
Well, you know what I love about what you were saying too, Rachel, not that I didn't love yours, Peter, but I had those confirmation chills when you were talking all over my body. But I love the fact that you said, even though you recognize that was probably his journey, you still recognized your part in the creation of it. So you didn't just call him on it and say, look, this is your deal, dude, not mine. You actually looked at the reflection, and you looked at, you know, some people think or say that everything that's happening to them is really a reflection of themselves, which I know we have to take with a grain of salt, and there's a percentage of that. But you're identifying, wait a minute, part of this I created too. So you're actually looking at your part in that, even though the ego side wants to say, look, I don't know what side of the bed you woke up on, but I didn't wake up on that side. Right. Can you explain a little bit more? And actually, I'm taking this from a question from one of your Facebook people. I think his name was David. He asked about this in your Facebook Live questions. How much do you look at reflection? Like, some people may not even understand what that means. Can you explain that?
Yes. So it's subtle, like the layers are subtle. And you know, this is what happens in our evolutionary process. When issues come back that we think we've already handled and already processed and already dealt with, it's the layers or the subtle vibrational variance in there that's refining and that's showing itself in a new way. So say that scenario, like you said, there's a sense of reflection in that where we look at it, and it's not even there is something that's being reflected and I'm noticing, but there's also an element, like you said, that has a sense of actual creation in it. Like, what am I going to do with this scenario? Where am I going to take it? How do I want to process it? How do I want to observe and view? What do I want to create with it? So I do feel like there may be a reflection, but even in that space, there's an awareness of like, what is my choice of creation here?
Amazing. Peter, do you have anything to answer to that too?
No, I totally. Yeah, I mean, it is all about, you know, you don't give the power away to something outside of yourself to control the outcome. You know, like it comes back to you. You know, like your perception, and that's what I feel between us two. That, you know, is it a deal breaker? Is that something we can ask ourselves? You know, this. So when we talk it through, it's gone. It does not carry for next day. You know.
Okay. Well, I have a question for the two of you, and it just deals with the title of our show, actually. For those of people out there that may say, look, I'm not awake, I'm not aware, and that's probably a total bogus, because if you're listening to this show, you are awake and aware. You're awake or you wouldn't be listening. But let's just say they don't think they are. And they're like, I just want a girlfriend, or I just want a boyfriend. Just tell me how to get a boyfriend. From square one, kind of 101, dumbing it down, attracting a boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, for dummies in a book. You know what I'm saying? What's your best pieces of advice for that?
Oh gosh, Beth, that makes me laugh. I'm like, well, what kind of boyfriend you want there? I mean, you could just wear some skimpy clothing and get a boyfriend, but what do you really want? Like, I think it makes me laugh. It comes down to, first of all, getting honest and transparent with yourself about what is it that you truly want. Because some people, and we've had this happen with clients, and we've talked about this because we see it, you know, it's interesting. We have an interesting perspective because we meet with so many people individually as clients, and we can say, wow, I'm really seeing this trend in the collective right now, or trend in relationships right now. Yeah.
We have the cheap, so we got the top seats.
I know. I love that perspective.
Go ahead.
And,
I'm sorry.
No, but I think it comes down to, because even people can have that relationship or have someone or have a boyfriend and be like, this isn't what I wanted, or this isn't, they're not giving me what I need, or this is not it. And it's because they were never clear about truly what they were wanting. What is it that you feel like your desire or your core energy is looking for out there?
That's what you said, the key word, that they don't know what they want, but also that it comes back to you. If you don't love yourself, how can you find love on the outside? You know, like that's what I go to first when you ask that question, is like, you really have to find a peace and and then give up that duality and resistance to the now, to you, to yourself. Really find yourself, to truly find that partner on the outside, because if you just look for, temporary happiness and money or whatever it is, then it's not going to last. I don't believe that. It's like, it's not going to give you that kind of, if I feel like when you are ready for a sacred relationship, those factors do not matter. You want a true relationship. You want passion. You want love. You want somebody who reflects who you are, So by saying that, you have to be there yourself too. And that's how we met each other, because we had to do the work first.
It is work.
Well, it is
Yes,
work.
it is work.
And even in the relationship, you continue to do that work. To continue to be on the same rhythm and to appreciate that. Peter, you're a guy, and I don't think you're a typical guy, to be honest, but you're a guy. And, men think about things a little differently sometimes, more methodical. So like we were talking earlier about how she manifests, and how you said she actually looks like what you manifested. Did you write down some things? What did you do to manifest her?
You have a vision board and stuff, didn't you?
I did have a vision board. I actually haven't used that for a little while, but it was in my mind. It's like, you have this, etheric vision board. It's a feeling, you're feeling what it looks like, and that's when you go into all your senses, like you cannot put that into a little box, it's so much bigger, it's like, how does it feel? How does it smell? How does it,
Did you see me
taste
inside your mind?
Yeah.
I did.
Like that?
You
I did, but
Was I blonde?
I didn't draw it out.
Was I short?
Yeah, was she blonde and short?
You were perfect.
You had the perfect soul. I like how her lipstick always matches her outfits. I do think that's cool.
I thought about that today.
Did you?
I'm like, I'm going to wear red, so I'm going to wear my red lipstick.
Yes, girl, you can rock it. She's got it. Well, I have to say, Peter, when you manifested, you did manifest a dynamite girl.
I did.
Y'all match and look, y'all go together very well. And you have separate families too, and you put that together. And it's just amazing how well that came together for you guys. But you guys also have a very common interest. So do you think it's important for couples when they are manifesting their counterpart that they do have some common interest? Sometimes when I'm giving advice to couples about how, or individuals, my clients, like, where can I meet this someone? I always say, go where you love to go. Do the things you love to do, because you're going to meet someone in the situation where you love to be. Do you really want to meet them? Let's say if you don't like NASCAR, do you really want to attract them at NASCAR? You know what I'm saying? Go do what you like to do. That makes it so much easier. But I don't know what the question is in that, but I think you can figure it out when I'm asking. So
I know exactly what you're saying. I think it's like about my answer is that, you do stuff together more and more because you enjoy being together. It's not just because, oh, you have to do this, I have to do that, or I need my private time to do like. We still need solitude and so forth, but it's like, I think many more household things or whatever we do together, like we drive to drop off the kids, that kind of stuff, like instead of before, I know with some people it's not that way, we love to hang out, and that's so important.
Yeah, I think that I love what you said. I think that's great advice about doing what you love to do. Essentially, that's what we were doing. We were having a sense of doing our life's purpose, working and serving in ways that we felt very called to do. And so syncing up with someone that's already doing that, it's just a dynamite, powerhouse kind of momentum to what you're already doing, amplifying what you're already doing versus trying to fake it to get someone.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's so important. Yeah. It is. But real quick, Peter, you still work privately in your work. Do you have a separate website or email, or what kind of clients do you see? And I'm going to ask the same question for you, Rachel. What can they expect to get from you guys individually as well?
I do have a website. It's called channelingartsangel.com, www. And that was in the front, of course. I thought I had to pop that in there.
Yeah, of course you did.
And I have a lot of clients over the phone or Skype and in person, because I travel. I work in San Antonio and in Santa Monica, go back and forward every month. And it's healing work, it's psychic questions, it's therapy. It's like, it's a mixture of all of it. It's very relevant, because I'm coming from the angelic perspective, with the archangels. A lot of people feel drawn to that from me. Mm-hmm. And of course, Texas is in the Bible Belt, so I feel a lot of support here, and a lot of people just out of nowhere shows up. I I need to talk to you because, I feel guided and drawn to you for what you do. And what I do resonate with them 100%. And that's really, it just feels like I'm in the right place at the right time. And it really is a gift. I love it.
Ditto everything you're saying. It's beautiful. All right. If you had a favorite archangel that you seem to talk to the most to, who would that be?
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Why? Tell me about Gabriel.
Gabriel, the messenger of God, it's like, it feels like, the messenger between the two dimensions, I feel like that because I'm body Gabriel when I in a session most of the time. Sometimes I go remotely and I bring in Michael as well. If it's a client I have in Hawaii or somewhere etherically I have Michael and Gabriel there and I do the work like on a table in front of me. So that's my hands and eyes there, and people, they feel it, they resonate. I can feel what they feel because the energy melts with them.
Yes.
So it's like I extend myself into that, and I'm allowing the Ascended Masters and the Archangels, not just Gabriel and Michael, to work through me if needed. If they have a mission, if they have some work they need to get done, more and more I bring in the collective angelic, and that really, even before the session starts, not just me, but the client too, a lot of times feel that energy coming in, the heat. Yes. They just feel 5 minutes before like, oh my God, there's so much energy coming in, and it's just angelic and beautiful, divine. Such a gift, it's like it's.
Have you ever dreamed? This has happened to me, but have you ever had dreams about those clients coming in that day and you didn't realize it till you meet them, and you're like, oh my gosh, I dreamed about this, or you see something specific with them?
It has happened, and it does happen all the time. It's like it's you kind of feel like something's going to happen before it happened. But I think being a psychic, of course, which we all are, when we unlock our gifts, it comes with, and then. It just it cracks us up, and it's like we start playing with it. We start, just enjoying it more. Like those signs, it's affirmation, confirmation, and it's like it makes it all worth it.
One of my
or they may say the same thing. They may say, "I saw you in a dream, and that's why I knew." Then I saw your YouTube video, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's psychic. Funny? I need to connect with."
It's funny you saying that because there's several women, that we worked with in workshops and clients, private clients, where I was as an angel showing up in their dreams.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
I can name 3 or 4 people that actually saw me, and they
saw you sitting by the side of the bed.
Right, or they're seeing me as a kid even, like all throughout their life.
No, it's happened to me.
No, it's true.
It's true. Yeah. It's happened to me. I remember 2 of my favorite stories, just real quick, very quick. One night I dreamed about Beetlejuice, of all things, but I was dreaming about Beetlejuice. And I kept hearing, and I woke up hearing, how sometimes you'll hear things in your head, and I kept hearing Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. And I'm like, how weird is that? And then my first client walks in, and she has this humongous tattoo on her leg of Beetlejuice. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that was funny. And then one of my favorite stories to tell, and I'll tell it super fast, is that I was going on a paranormal investigation with my Ghost of Georgia team. And right before we got there, I was asleep in a hotel the night before, and I had one of those flying dreams. The flying dreams are the best.
I love those.
But in my dream, I was teaching this kid to fly. And I was like, it's so easy. You just lift up. And it looked almost like a Harry Potter scene. And I got him flying, and it was so exciting. And then we were flying together. And I'm like, see, it's easy. And then we go and we knock on the client's door the next day, and this kid opens the door. And I'm like, what? And not only did I recognize him, he recognized me. And we both said it at the same time. We were flying together. And I'm like, yes.
Wow. That was not a dream. No. That was the dimensional space that you both participated in.
Isn't that crazy? And we did not know each other ahead of time. So that's so real. So I'm going to take it to you now, Rachel. Your work individually, what do you do on an individual basis full time with clients, and how can people reach you individually, and what's your, that thing?
So my website is themodernshaman.net. .com was taken, so I'm a .net.
Okay, .net, got it.
I'm a cheap version. I'm a .net version.
That's all right.
And it is the hub of all things me in terms of my business. I have a very active YouTube channel where people send in questions on psychic development, on things that they're trying to decipher in this awakening process. And that's available through my website. And then I also meet one-on-one with clients. I do shamanic work in terms of healing. So healing with the elementals, healing in a sort of mind, body, and spirit, very organic way of healing, a lot of breath work, a lot of earth and fire and wind and this type of thing. rattling, drumming, you name it, a lot of kind of organic type of healing. And as well as just traditional psychic readings with clients. So, and those can kind of run the gamut of looking at future probabilities, of looking at past lives, of looking at just helping remote view of certain things, any type of non-physical or kind of multidimensional awareness questions. We can do that in the psychic sessions. And then I also teach psychic development. So I try to empower people in their own gifts and their own connection and whatever that looks like, reminding them of the stuff that they have developed in previous lifetimes, pulling that out, getting them to step into the fullness of their sense of self and their capabilities, whatever that may be, and however they do it. Not just to be a working, waking psychic. Right. I can help people do that, but just it helps you to feel like you're integrated in life, like we shared earlier, just that all things are still connected to those loved ones that have crossed over, to your sense of getting divine guidance from your angelic team, all of it, feeling connected and feeling confidence in that and peace in that instead of insecurity or not knowing. So.
Just being awake and aware. And I want to tell all our listeners that there's 355. Oh gosh. Okay. So all of our listeners, if you're listening to this show, you're already awake or you wouldn't be tuned in. And everyone should take psychic development. Everyone. Yes. It doesn't mean you have to do this practice full time. It's like you said, there's so much in your life that will be enhanced by being more in tuned to your higher self and to those around you, and just working for the highest good of everyone, not just your life, but everyone's life is just such an enhancement. To make sure we hit the title of the show, if you had one piece of advice for how you can attract that soulmate now, what would the now be to make that, let's give them a powerhouse jump start? What would that be?
So my advice to that now is to live your highest vibrational sense of self now in the most real and transparent way that you can. And depending on what you're doing, even in your job or even in your relationship with your kids or your family, even if you don't have that person in your life right now, it would be living from that highest vibrational space in every moment, asking yourself, like, in this moment, what would be the best thing, the most aligned, the most joyous, the most full of love reaction that I can have, an interaction that I can have, and choosing to live in that space as often as you can. That will bring that person to you without even looking, with like, I keep saying like blacked out goggles on. Yeah, you don't even have to look. It's like you're already in that vibrational space of love in any and all interactions. So they can pop in any and all spaces, and you will be receiving love in any and all reactions from all spaces, even from a freaking flower or something. Yeah. You will feel a sense of love because you're vibrationally being that for yourself. So in the now, that would be my advice.
Peter, do you have any advice to top that off? It was pretty powerful.
I know,
that's a lot to live up to.
Of course, the unconditional love is key, and then like stop thinking about me all the time. Think about what is best for the whole.
Right.
That's one thing I learned. Like when you start tapping into the mass consciousness, you know that you are so much bigger. If you always focus on you, then you're gonna be lonely. You have to look bigger. And the same with we talk to sacred couples. A couple we have sacred relationship sessions with. It's like we dissect it from the masculine and the feminine. And combine the two. But it's so important that you are in both. You cannot just stay in one. So don't repeat the old recordings. And old patterns. That's so key as well. Because it's so easy just to fall into the same trap and do what you did in the past and think the same outcome will come, and it will then.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same stuff.
And
you have to find that unconditional love for others and for yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. That's one of the biggest challenges, I think,
You do. We've got 2 minutes. We're wrapping up. But to top that, I'll just say, no, you're great, because I want to piggyback that and just say, remember, every day is a new day. All our cells are regenerating in our body. So everything is regenerating. Just know that every day is a new day. And just, you've got a brand new day to make a brand new decision. Don't think about what you did yesterday. Just think about what you're going to do today, and, start over every day. You can always have, manifest Anyway, that's what I tell people. So just remember that. But you guys are amazing, and I hope that you'll stay on the line for me after the show is over so I can talk to you for just a second. But you guys, if you don't know who Rachel and Peter are, you are in for a treat. Go to thesacredcounterpart.com, go to their individual Facebook pages. And if you guys, I always forget to advertise myself, but I have a private business here in Buckhead, and I do see clients individually and do big gallery sessions and seek psychic development. And my website is Beth Peters, psychicmedium.com, and you can see where you can contact me from there, and I have several social media sites. So bethpeterspsychicmedia.com, and you can book an appointment with me in my office or Skype, wherever else. So what you got, Peter? You said you had one more thing?
I just want to jump in because we have a YouTube channel as well with a lot of our videos on. So, go check us out. We Sacred Counterpart questions and answer time, where a lot of them we have the questions and questions on there. So then we discuss the
It's great.
answers.
I did it. I looked at you guys. It is.
Awesome.